Hey there. Well, it's the evening before I get my test results. I can't believe it's finally here. It's been a really stressful couple weeks since I got the testing. Well, first of all, I'll check in on how I'm doing. I am an absolute nervous wreck. I feel sick to my stomach, and like my heart is pounding, and I just want to distract myself, which is honestly the best thing that I'm doing, is just trying to keep myself busy. Especially the closer I get, the more anxious I'm getting. I got an email from the doctor, and she said that we're supposed to talk at 10 o'clock, and because she's out of state, and she's going to send me the test results in a written format at 8 a.m. my time. So I'm getting the report 2 hours before I talk to her. And here's what's happening. My mind's going, oh my God, then there's no way I'm going to get my Asperger's diagnosis, because she would never send it to me 2 hours in advance, because she'd want to tell me in person. So I'm clearly panicking. I'm like terrified I'm not going to get the diagnosis. And I'm talking about it pretty calmly now, but I have to admit that I was like full on sobbing the other day. I was getting some body work done, and I'm really close with the practitioner. She's actually somebody who's really instrumental in getting me to this point and helping me get the Asperger's awareness. She's been a huge support, and I just started sobbing, because I feel like this is just one thing that I want. I just want this diagnosis. I just want this validation after so many years of trying to get answers and trying to get help and being minimized. And I think just this one thing, can I just get this so at least I have that validation, and I know it's true for myself, but it's not the same. So, I don't know. I guess I have got to get myself prepared for tomorrow and whatever happens in case I don't get the diagnosis. I don't know. I don't know if I can prepare for that. I'll just be devastated. I feel like I could easily start crying right now, but I don't really want to do that, actually. So I'm not going to. But the other thing that's happened since I last did a video is that I went to see a doctor last week. I'd had this appointment for 5 months, even before I had the appointment for the testing. And this doctor is a neuropsychiatrist, and I'd also had some head traumas. So it was suggested that I be evaluated by him, that he would be able to, evaluate me for both head trauma and a potential autism spectrum disorder. So it turns out that I was able to get the Asperger's testing already, but I kept the appointment with him. So I went to see him, and it was just the most dreadful, awful experience. I cannot even hardly articulate it, and I don't even know how much I want to bring it all back up, but the man did not even listen to me. He had all of my records, like from every area of my life in terms of everything medical, and it seemed pretty obvious that he made a judgment about who I am and what's going on with me without even talking to me, and without even really thinking through everything. I've had some different health issues, and I've seen some different doctors for different things, but I haven't gotten any answers. So it was suggested I see him so he could review everything and see what tests are missing, and try and get to the bottom of that, and then I'll also see about the concussion, like some of the challenges I'm having, if that could be related to the concussion. So when I went in there, the student was, his student was there first, and she was great, and I was sharing my story and the details of my injuries and stuff, and she was really interested and really pleasant. And then when he came in, he basically told me that there are two conditions that I'm struggling with these last few years at different times. One is what I guess you could call periodic leg movement disorder, where your leg moves hard. It's a nightmare situation, and when it was really, really bad, it would be going on hours and hours and hours at a time at night, and I wasn't sleeping for days. Like, my body never settled, ever. It's a living hell. Like, yeah. And then I also got vertigo and light sensitivity, which my primary doctor thought might have been the result of the concussion. So anyway, without talking to me, without actually walking through all of my test results and everything with me, the doctor just said it's psychological, that these two things are psychological. And, you know, I am not opposed to the possibility that a health condition is psychological. Okay, I had to take a break there. Anyway, I was talking about this visit with this doctor, and I was sharing about the different health conditions, a couple of them that I have, which is the periodic leg movement disorder and the vertigo. And he's basically like, oh, this is a classic mental health case, and it's psychological. And my hair keeps doing this. Now, here's the thing. I've always believed that the mind and body are connected and they affect each other. And I've always tackled things from like every different angle possible. So I'm not opposed to something potentially being like a physical manifestation of something psychological at all. I'm not. But what so enraged me was not what he said, but the way he interacted with me. It was so clear that he was judging me because of things he read in my records. He didn't talk through the results with me. He was actually very condescending, arrogant, and insulting. And let me try and give you an example. Okay, oh God, I don't even know if I should. I'm sitting here trying to think about how I want to talk about this, and I feel like I could go into some of the details and give examples of what exactly happened, I guess because I want you to believe me, and I want to be believed about and understood of how bad it was, but I think for my own well-being, I'm not going to go into all that. But I will share that after I left that appointment, I felt like I'd been like beat up and dumped in a ditch. I started sobbing when I was outside. It was so awful the way this man was treating me. And I just broke down, I think, with everything I've been going through, and then to have this on top of it. And I want to say I was just really blessed because right then and there, this woman walked by and she said, ma'am, I'm the hospital chaplain, and I was wondering if you would like to talk. And I said, yes, I think I would. And I was just able to vent it all out with her. And, you know, by the end of that conversation, I found some inner strength, and I just said, you know what, I am not going to let this guy get to me. And as angry as I am, he is not going to win. He's wrong. And I know myself, he's wrong to treat me that way. He just really, everything about it he handled really poorly. So anyway, I wish to God it was just like tomorrow, because this waiting is torture. I'm so scared. I'm so petrified. I can't even tell you, I'm so petrified. We'll see. I think this is the time when I have to stay strong. I just would really appreciate having these answers. That's it for now. I will check back in at some point after I talk to the doctor tomorrow. Hey there, there's just one other thing I wanted to mention. totally unrelated to my diagnosis meeting tomorrow, and that's that just yesterday there was an article about Susan Boyle, who was the singer on Britain's Got Talent, and how she was diagnosed a year ago with Asperger syndrome. Apparently she had been deprived of oxygen as a baby, and they thought maybe she was brain damaged, but she wasn't. She had Asperger's. And she said that it was a big relief knowing that she did, and I really understand that feeling. You know, I think for me it will just be a huge, huge relief to really understand why I've struggled the way I have. I also want to say that I really see a movement happening here. We women are getting diagnoses, we are getting answers, we're finally being heard, and I personally feel really grateful. I'm really, really grateful that I am alive during this time. I mean, granted, I've lost so many years to confusion, but thank God, thank God I'm here now when women on the autism spectrum are finally being recognized, being diagnosed. And I guess the next step is being understood and getting the support that we need. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing these videos, is to get the word out, help other women the way that I was helped, and to help people to understand, we don't always necessarily present the way men do. We can be more verbal, we can cover it up more, and find more coping skills. Anyway, shout out to Susan and to everybody out there.